Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and stay tuned.
National Geographic Kids, All About Koalas by WSJ. Who am I? I live in the trees, eating green leaves. I have a black nose and long claws on my toes. My big ears are furry, and I'm not in a hurry. Who am I? A koala!
With fluffy ears, round heads, and spoon-shaped noses, koalas are known for their lovable faces. But these sleepy Australian tree dwellers are full of surprises. Koalas are not bears, they're marsupials. Often mislabeled koala bears because of their teddy bear-like appearance, koalas are marsupials, mammals that give birth to undeveloped young. Like most marsupials, mother koalas have pouches, where baby koalas, or joeys, drink their mother's milk and continue to develop for around 6 months. But unlike most other marsupials, koala pouches open toward the bottom. This allows joeys to access and consume a substance their mother secretes, which aids in the baby koala's digestion. Koalas have 6 opposable thumbs. With sharp pointed claws and rough pads, koala hands and feet are uniquely designed to grip branches. Their front paws have 5 digits. 2 digits oppose the other 3 like a pair of thumbs. Their back paws each have 1 large clawless opposable digit, which allows them to grasp branches with their feet, freeing their hands to forage. Koala feet also have built-in combs. The second and third toes are fused together and are used for grooming their woolly fur. Koalas eat leaves that are poisonous to many animals. The koala diet consists almost entirely of eucalyptus leaves. Of the roughly 650 species of eucalypt trees in Australia, koalas prefer only about 30 of them. The leathery leaves are very high in fiber and contain chemicals toxic to other animals. To process this specialized diet, koalas have a closed-ended digestive organ called a cecum, which helps digest the leaf fibers via fermentation. Koalas sleep up to 22 hours per day. Because of their low nutrition diets and sluggish metabolism, koalas must conserve their energy. Koalas spend about 10% of their day eating and around 90% of their time sleeping. To accommodate so much time spent sleeping in tree branches, koalas have curved spines and tailless rears padded with cartilage and extra thick fur. Koala habitat is quickly disappearing. Koalas only live in eastern and southeastern Australia and once numbered in the millions. Now, wild koala population estimates vary from 43,000 to around 350,000. Vast tree clearing due to urbanization, along with droughts and forest fires, have drastically reduced koala habitat since the early 1900s. These stressors have made koalas vulnerable to diseases, as well as dog attacks and vehicle strikes. Australia's conservation plans include designating and protecting koala habitat and funding koala hospitals and disease research. These combined efforts are critical to protect the beloved koala from extinction.
koalas live? Koalas live in a country called Australia. They live in forests and wooded areas. They live in the mountains and on the coast. Pouch animals. Koalas look a little like teddy bears, but they are not bears at all. Koalas are mammals called marsupials. They carry their babies in pouches. Kangaroos and wombats are marsupials too.
What is the difference between kangaroos and wallabies? The land of Australia is well known for breaking the rules, from its fairly remote location on the world map to its geography, and of course its wildlife. The marsupials are one such peculiar group, consisting of many interesting creatures, big and small. Today's video focuses on two of Australia's iconic marsupials, kangaroos and wallabies. We'll run through some of the basic information and taxonomical classification and look at a few examples. By the end of the video, you'll be an expert at telling the two apart. With that out of the way, mates, let's take a trip to the land down under. Kangaroos. Kangaroos are the largest members of the marsupial family Macropodidae, along with a number of other animals collectively known as macropods. As the name suggests, macro means large, while pod refers to leg or foot. Looking at kangaroos and their cousins, or more specifically their feet, it's easy to see why early taxonomists just grouped them under this term. Yet there is still a bit of confusion when it comes to separating kangaroos from other kangaroo-like macropods. So, for the sake of simplicity, the standard thing these days is to refer to the four largest macropod species as kangaroos. That means we have the red kangaroo, Osphranter rufus, the western gray kangaroo, Macropus fuliginosus, the eastern gray kangaroo, Macropus gigantus, and the antilopine kangaroo, Osphranter antilopinus, as the true kangaroos of Australia. That said, we also have tree kangaroos, animals that break the whole largest macropods are kangaroos rule. Though still macropods, these little guys are wholly adapted to life in the trees, with super soft feet, curly claws, and powerful gripping tails that support their arboreal lifestyles. There are 14 tree kangaroo species, all of which belong to the Dendrolagus genus. Most live in the jungles of New Guinea, but a couple of species live in northeast Australia. While tree kangaroos are awesome and interesting critters, we'll be focusing more on their larger terrestrial cousins for the sake of today's video. Terrestrial kangaroos are widespread throughout Australia, with their total numbers somewhere in the tens of millions. Different species prefer different kinds of environments. The red kangaroo, which is the largest macropod and marsupial in Australia, loves the boundless freedom of open grasslands and sparse scrubland. Gray kangaroos, meanwhile, prefer more wooded areas, but are able to adapt to a wide range of environments, including human settlements, towns, and cities. Antilopine kangaroos prefer the tropical grasslands of northern Australia, where the grass is perennial. Despite differences in habitat preferences, kangaroos are quite similar in almost every way. Their most iconic trait is their hopping, a style of locomotion that we all tried to copy at least once as kids, and maybe even as kids at heart. Kangaroos move this way thanks to their powerful spring-like hind legs that work in unison to get them from point A to B at speeds of 30 miles per hour. Their jumping prowess is, as you can imagine, pretty much unrivaled. A red kangaroo can easily cover 30 feet in a single bound. As far as vertical jumping, kangaroos can reach heights of 6 feet on average, while the big red kangaroo can clear 10 feet. While the legs provide the horsepower of a roo's mobility, the tail provides the handling. As Enzo Ferrari once said, "Power is nothing without control," and kangaroos live by these words daily. Their long, powerful tails act like stabilizers, allowing them to manipulate their centers of gravity and maintain balance. When not in full flight, kangaroos move in short swings hinged on their forelimbs, with the tail also providing rear support. It's kind of similar to how a person with crutches moves, without the tail, of course. A kangaroo's tail can also work like a third leg in certain situations, particularly violent ones. Males, called bucks, are especially prone to fighting, be it each other or perceived threats. When fighting, kangaroos lean backwards on their tails, which allows them to raise their strong hind legs and thrust them at an opponent. This can cause nasty damage, either via blunt force or through their long claws. A number of people have been injured by kangaroos in this way. As far as diet, kangaroos are herbivores. Grazers, to be specific, since most of their diet consists of grass. They even have specialized teeth for tackling their favored food, allowing them to nibble grass close to the ground and chew it efficiently. Experts believe kangaroos have been successful in the face of mass deforestation and habitat loss because the pasture lands that replaced these old forests are actually great sources of food. Any cattle or sheep farm in Australia is likely to have a few kangaroo visitors from time to time, especially if the grass is good. In lean times, kangaroos can become an unwanted nuisance, and farmers are known to take matters into their own hands. Apart from humans and perhaps dingoes, kangaroos have no natural predators in Australia. Offspring, known as joeys, are especially vulnerable, but that's why they rarely leave their mother's marsupial pouches until they can hop quickly on their own. When not grazing or running from trouble, kangaroos like to hang out with their own kind. They are quite social and often form groupings called mobs or troops. In Australia, the largest mobs are often found in the east, which generally offers more grazing and water access than the western half of the country. When resources are plentiful, mobs stick together for a long time. When they are not, kangaroos live in smaller, more intimate family groupings or even go solitary for a while. Like most mammals, reproduction is a highly political affair. The biggest males usually get the girls in heat, and violence often breaks out between competing males. In addition to the tail-balanced kicking, male roos will paw at each other with their forelimbs, a technique known as boxing. Like with human boxing, bouts can be over in seconds or continue for round after round after round. Wallabies. Wallabies are small to mid-sized macropods that make up the bulk of the Macropodidae family. They are essentially small terrestrial kangaroos and are often confused for their larger cousins. After all, they look like kangaroos, hop like them, and even fight like them. In some cases, they are even classified in the same genera as some kangaroo species. The word wallaby is therefore used to refer to a kangaroo-like macropod smaller than an actual kangaroo. Generally, wallabies are anywhere between 17.8 and 41 inches long, excluding the tail. The smallest true kangaroo, the western gray, is between 33 and 43 inches, excluding the tail, while red kangaroos can grow to 5 feet and 3 inches, excluding the tails. There are several categories of wallaby: brush, rock, scrub, hare, nail-tail, and swamp. Brush wallabies live in forests and scrubland, while rock wallabies prefer rocky terrain, hills and cliffs. Today we have 8 brush species, 19 known rock species, 2 nail-tails, 2 hare wallabies, 7 scrub wallabies, and 1 swamp wallaby species. Like kangaroos, wallabies are largely native to various parts of Australia, while a few others live in New Guinea. There are also introduced populations in New Zealand and Hawaii, but human intervention doesn't count. Unlike kangaroos, wallabies have suffered greatly at the hands of humans, particularly through habitat destruction. Several species have gone extinct in the few hundred years following the arrival of European settlers. Overhunting and new predatory animals like dogs, cats, and foxes have done a real number on these little guys. Road accidents also claim at least a dozen wallabies each year. As far as diet, wallabies are herbivorous creatures, though their palates are a bit more varied than kangaroos. They eat grass, leaves, and veggies like cabbage. They will also eat roots and root vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots if water is in short supply. Their teeth lack the same grazing specializations found in true kangaroos. They can be social, solitary, or live in pairs. Groups of 3 or more adults are called mobs or troops too, and the solidity of a mob depends on available resources. Also, like kangaroos, wallabies are a hoppy bunch. Their macropod legs allow them to jump and move quickly, while their tails provide balance. This rapid mobility is crucial for evading predators and covering lots of ground in the never-ending quest to find water in Australia's blazing wildlands. In modern times, some wallabies have learned to stick close to human settlements like farms or towns to access water from reservoirs, tanks, and boreholes. A few brave wallabies have even been known to steal a drink from sleeping dogs' pet bowls. A classic marsupial, wallabies make use of pouches when rearing young. These babies, also called joeys, live in their mom's pouches until they can rely on their own mobility. Though very vulnerable to predation, wallabies are not entirely defenseless, and the larger ones can even be dangerous to people. Again, they rely on their powerful legs to kick a would-be attacker. When fighting each other, wallabies will kick and box until someone gives up and flees. Males within a species do most of the fighting, especially during breeding periods. However, wallabies of either sex will fight each other for scarce resources, like water, in some cases. Key differences. The first difference between kangaroos and wallabies is size. Kangaroos are the largest macropods around, with the red kangaroo being far larger than any wallaby. However, size isn't always the easiest way to tell these animals apart, because the largest wallabies have a bit of an overlap with the smallest roos where size is concerned. Another difference is coloration. Kangaroos usually have one main color on their sides and backs, with a secondary color like white towards the underbelly and chest. Red kangaroos, for example, have a rust red color that goes pale towards their fronts. Wallabies, in contrast, can be a touch more colorful, with much more color variation than kangaroos. Even the gray ones can have splashes of white, black, and other colors. There are also differences in leg structure. Kangaroos have especially long legs, even relative to body size, because they are built for top speed and sheer jumping power. Wallabies also have long legs, but theirs are slightly more compact to facilitate greater agility in the forests they favor. Next is dentition. Kangaroos have curved incisors with high crowns to help them cut grass when feeding. Their molars are curved as well to help them dice the grass further. Meanwhile, wallaby teeth are flat to allow them to grind the leaves and roots they eat. Wallabies have a single cutting tooth on their upper jaws.
Throughout Australia's fields and temperate forests lives a fuzzy, chunky little lawnmower. These stout cuties spend their days mowing grass with their continually growing teeth, and their nights snoozing in their burrows.
Oh, look at him. I'm getting punked. Oh, he's so heavy. I just got knocked over by a baby wombat.
These are the heroes of the bushfires, the stealers of hearts, and the knights of the most adorable joust in the world. The wombat.
Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animal Logic. Today, I'm looking for wombats. We just ferried across from Triabunna all the way to Moria Island. Now, this has been reserved as a national park to be untouched by humans. Now it's somewhat of a haven for all kinds of Tasmanian wildlife. This island was at first colonized as a penitentiary, but has since been shut down and for the past 150 years has been preserved as a national park. Considering this hill behind me is absolutely covered in animal feces of all kinds, I'd say our chances of finding wildlife out here are going to be excellent. Have you ever been so excited about poop? I haven't. Well, we're definitely in wombat country. There's a little mound behind me full of burrows. And you might assume that these burrows could be any small mammals. But once again, the poop gives it away. Where there are poop cubes, there are wombats. I knew I had a good feeling about this. Right over there is the first wombat we've spotted.
Wombats are a family of marsupials closely related to koalas. Only found in Australia, there are 3 living species of wombat. The common wombat is the most prolific and are found in southeastern Australia as well as here in Tasmania. The other two species are their ugly cousins, the northern and southern hairy-nosed wombat, which are primarily found in Queensland and southern Australia, respectively. The hairy-nosed wombat looks like someone had to draw a wombat from memory, but got confused halfway through and drew a possum instead. Wombats are famous for their chill attitudes, spending 3 to 8 hours a day eating. But despite their reputation, in wombat country, things can get pretty spicy. For male wombats, territory is everything, and this male is looking to expand his. The challenging male approaches. The two competitors square off, preparing for an all-out brawl. The challenger backs off, but not for long. The two males slam into each other like knights in the joust, or more aptly, like two stuffed animals being smashed together. They grapple, each looking for advantage. They snap and claw at one another, using their heavy bodies to try and knock the other to the ground. This is Mortal Wombat. In the end, size is king, and the dominant male stays that way. In a final message of their distaste for one another, they both scrape the ground with their front legs. In the wombat world, this is akin to a death threat. It may be an insult, but it really looks like they're winding up. Wombat combat is serious business. While it may be hard to tell from seeing pictures of wombats, these cuties can be quite large. They can reach up to 1 meter in length and weigh up to 30 kilograms. Even as juveniles, they're quite large, as I soon learned. I feel like a quarterback with the biggest football of all time. It's quite a heavy, sturdy animal. They're actually very muscular, despite how round they might look. And they put that muscle to good use. While they may look pudgy, they can run pretty fast as Usain Bolt, for up to a minute. Wombats are herbivores, and they hoover up everything in front of them, from shrubs to roots to hopefully not monopods. Oh, phew. The food that they eat is a lot of grasses and plants, so it is very low-calorie food. They're not likely to put on much fat, but they are likely to build lots and lots of muscle. This one likes my boot. Oh, you're personalizing them for me, thank you. Huh? Since their diet is made up of vast quantities of hard plant matter, their teeth are constantly being worn down, and so wombats have developed rodent-like teeth that never stop growing. You can see these youngsters are having a good chew on this log, and that's because wombats have continuously growing teeth that they need to keep wearing down in order to stay healthy. This is a great example of convergent evolution, as wombats are in no way related to beavers, but they both share the same evolutionary strategy. While it's hard to imagine these wombats ever taking a break from munching away, they can survive several days without eating. They have a very slow metabolism, and it can take them up to 2 weeks to digest a meal. This can be a helpful tool when they're trapped in their burrows, either by a predator or by a bushfire. Wombats are nocturnal, and they don't have great vision, so instead they rely on their big leathery noses to find exactly what they're looking for: low-lying plant matter. Wombats are excellent diggers and come equipped with powerful claws built for digging. Wombats are natural excavators. They've got very powerful claws that they use for burrowing. In fact, they're the largest burrowing marsupial in the world. Wombats have powerful front legs and strong claws that help them dig through just about anything. While you might think that when they dig, some dirt would end up in their pouches, they have evolved to have backwards opening pouches, which prevents any dirt from griming up their joeys. All that digging has led to some pretty impressive burrows.
All the holes to the burrows here right behind me are probably all connected underground. They're so poorly maintained by the wombats themselves, they end up sharing that space with a lot of other animals. Nature's architects, the wombat.
Wombats were the heroes of the bushfires in Australia this year because it was reported that they were sharing their burrows with so many species of animals. But that's not quite the right word for it. You could say that a lot of animals were squatting in their burrows during the fires. That would be a little more accurate. Their burrows are massive and can be up to 20 meters long and can have over 15 entrances.
A lot of different entrances lead down to the same shared pathways. So they have a little underground network where a lot of animals could cram in if necessary. So intentional sharing or not, good job, little guys. You helped everyone.
Wombats usually live in the same burrow their entire lives, unless they're forced to leave it. Several wombats can live in the same burrow, provided it's large enough. These burrows make effective hideouts from predators, but a burrow with an open door does not a safe house make. And so, wombats have developed their own version of blast doors. They're butts.
You can see how flat his pelvis is and curved down. That's because they have a cartilage plate that covers their entire pelvis. It kind of acts as a shield because it's almost an inch thick of cartilage. To escape predation, they'll dig in and leave their butt hanging out. Their butt is so well protected that nothing can really get through that. Even a Tassie devil would have a hard time pulling it out by that big cartilage plate. Now, wombats have a single coat of fur. This helps them with their burrowing behavior because whatever dirt and sand gets stuck in there becomes easier to shake off and it doesn't get trapped under that fur quite so much. It's thick and wiry, but also quite soft. It also helps them with regulating their temperature, both dissipating and holding on to heat when they need it.
Their coloring also helps them camouflage in the dense foliage, making it hard for predators to spot them. Probably the most famous thing about wombats is what they leave behind, their poo. Their poo is unique in the animal kingdom because it's cubed. That's right, wombats have cubed poo. This is an interesting communication strategy, as it allows them to stack their poo to mark their territory without fear of their unique droppings rolling away. Whether you can use them to roll a critical is still to be determined. Eating as much as they do, wombats can poop up to 100 cubes a day. Yet despite this prolific contribution to science, the mechanics behind its production is still a mystery to us. Scientists have discovered that their poo only solidifies in the last bit of their intestine. Their intestines contain parts that are stretchy and parts that are solid, but how it all comes together to produce cubes is still unknown. Scientists and engineers are still looking at the problem because it's a novel way of making cubes, which could potentially be applied in production chains around the world. When wombats aren't eating, fighting, or pooping, they'll be mating. Mating can happen at any time throughout the year, though it's most common during the rainy season. Unlike many other species of marsupials, which give birth to multiple joeys that need to compete to survive, wombats only give birth to one single joey. Born about the size of one of their poop cubes, it won't be for another 6 months until they're ready to leave the pouch. Once they start growing hair, they go from very alien-looking to incredibly cute. By 15 months, they'll be fully weaned and ready to fend for themselves, though they will stick close to mum for another few months, as it's dangerous to go alone.
These ones here are only about 12 months old. Now, in the wild, baby wombats would stay with their mother for up to 20 months. There would only be one joey per mother for about every 2 years. So a mother wombat would spend a lot of energy and time raising just one young.
Scientists are still confirming this, but it's common knowledge that baby wombats are scientifically the cutest things in the world.
Because of how much time is expended raising just one joey, it's actually very difficult to recover their population if it were to decline.
While the common wombat is thriving across southeastern Australia and Tasmania, its cousins aren't having nearly as much success. The northern hairy-nosed wombat is critically endangered, with only 80 mature adults left in the wild, living in a single colony in Queensland. The southern hairy-nosed wombat is faring better than their northern brethren, but are listed as near threatened. Fortunately, due to conservation efforts and protection from invasive species, the northern hairy-nosed wombats have been steadily increasing in numbers, and they are now at their largest population size since European colonization. With any luck, this trend will continue, and all 3 species of wombat will begin to thrive. For the world needs more chunky, fuzzy lawnmowers with a serious attitude. Or at least, I do. Seeing wombat combat up close was one of the highlights of our trip. I still can't believe those cute fluffy balls can be so grumpy. There were also some other great moments, such as my first ever helicopter ride over the beautiful Great Ocean Road in Victoria. If you want to see this and more of our latest trip to Australia, then you should head on over to our Patreon page for some exclusive behind-the-scenes content. In this week's episode, you'll see breathtaking views of one of Australia's natural wonders, the 12 Apostles. Filming these amazing structures from above was an incredible experience that I'd love to share with you. Times are tough for everybody right now, and so all of these behind-the-scenes episodes will be early access to patrons, and then they'll be available to everyone to watch. Thanks for your support, we really appreciate it, and we hope that you enjoy watching. So what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for new episodes of Animal Logic every week. Thanks for watching! You want to go play? Go play. Well, okay, there you go. You can burrow under my arm, that's fine. You can jump off whenever you feel like it. That's on you. There you go. Huh? I love these furry football friends.
Built to climb. A koala's body is perfectly suited to living in trees. Life in the trees. Koalas are good climbers. They spend most of their time in trees. This is their habitat. Koalas sleep in trees too. They doze off in some funny places. Could you sleep like this? A koala lives in a small area in its habitat. The area has about 100 trees. This is its territory. Male koalas have a scent patch on their chests. They rub it on the trees. Picky eaters. Koalas eat lots of eucalyptus leaves, but they only eat from a few kinds of eucalyptus trees. To get enough food, koalas eat for about 5 hours every day. Koalas mostly eat and sleep. Cool facts. 1. Koalas can jump from tree to tree. 2. Koalas hardly drink any water. They get most of their water from leaves. 3. Koala's fur protects the animal from the heat, cold, and rain. 4. Koalas are very active at night. They like midnight snacks. 5. Koalas have fingerprints just like we do. 6. Eucalyptus leaves smell like cough drops. Koalas do too. Baby koalas. A baby koala is called a joey. When it's born, it does not have any hair. It's also blind. Soon, the joey comes out of the pouch. It hangs on mom's chest or rides on her back. The young koala learns how to climb and hang on so it can live safely in the trees. In danger, koalas need land with trees. But people are cutting down trees to make farms, roads, and buildings. There is less land for koalas. They are in danger. Koalas get hurt too. They get hit by cars or hurt by pet dogs. Helping koalas. Luckily for koalas, there are hospitals just for them. Doctors and nurses help koalas that are sick or hurt. Koala hospitals help thousands of koalas every year. Koalas get help in other ways too. Road signs tell drivers to watch out for koalas. Tunnels and bridges can help koalas cross roads. But koalas don't always know where the safe places to cross are. Saving eucalyptus trees is the best way to help koalas. Trees are homes for koalas. What in the world? These pictures show close-up views of things in a koala's world. Use the hints below to figure out what's in the pictures.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and stay tuned.